Morning all, afternoon even. It's a rubbish day, so I thought I would go through the questions which I asked people and try and give you some advice so hopefully you can resolve the problems you're having. Laura Biggs says, impulse control, especially in environments more exciting or new where she finds it harder to listen to me. Okay, that's a really common problem. I'm assuming you're probably meaning at a dog park where they're running off and meeting other dogs or other people. So the first thing with behaviour change is always the same. First thing is management, and then you can start doing the training, but you have to do the training before it is an issue. So for example, if it is running off and chasing other dogs, you put them on a lead. You don't let them do that. And then secondly, you don't keep going back to that same environment or place and expecting them to change without training them at home first. So the analogy I like to use is we've got to think about environments as if that's kind of like the doggy schools or the school system or the education system that they go through. So at home, it would be something like primary school. In the garden, it would be more like secondary school because there's more smells, there's more distractions. And then maybe a quiet field where there isn't much going on would be like the college because there's still more of a distraction there. And then finally would be like a dog park where there's so much going on, and that would be like a university level. So we have to train the dog at home, and then in the garden, and then at a quiet area, and then to the most distracting place. You can't go from in-home training straight to the most distracting place. Similarly, you can't go from primary school and expect to be able to finish a maths paper at university level. It just won't work. You have to put in the groundwork before that. So here's a quick video with a few exercises you can do to start with impulse control at home. Let's go in now. Thanks. Good. Good. Get it. Thanks. Good. Good. Get it. Thank you. Wait. Good. Get it. Nice work, little girlfriend. Wait. Good. Good. Get it. Nice work, little girl. Come on, quickly. Good. Wait. Good. Get it. So I would practice things at home first. Then I would move to the garden, and then I would move to a field where there's not much going on. And then if you want to, go back to the same place where all the distractions are. You have to remember also is that your dog is always forming associations. So for example, if you do keep going to the same place where they're getting distracted and running off and finding reinforcement elsewhere and not at you, they're just going to find the environment more reinforcing and you less reinforcing, and make it much more likely for them not to come back and focus on you. So Laura, what I would recommend is reduce the amount of times you're taking your dog to that place and they're doing the things you don't want them to do. I'm assuming, again, it's running off. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, just let me know what the actual issue is. And if it's on the lead, practice at home first. So practice with things that could be distracting for your dog, and teach a lot of engagement exercises. So use a lot of markers, use a lot of heavy reinforcement when they do pay attention to you, up the rate of reinforcement when they look at you, and gradually progress. The second question is from Sue French, and that says, as a trainer and behaviourist, jumping up is a very common issue. Learned as a puppy, of course, and then they start wanting help when the dog is 6 months old. Right, yeah, okay. So the reason dogs jump up in your face, especially puppies, is probably more a genetic predisposition to do it than anything else. As when they're young, they generally jump up at their mum, and that will trigger her to start regurgitating food and feeding them. So from their perspective, innately, it's very reinforcing to try and get to faces. And also, dogs just want to say hello. So when they do come and say hello, generally we'll reinforce it somehow. We give them a little bit of affection, we might give them eye contact, and all these things contribute to why dogs are jumping up on us. Now, the most simple ways to do it is try and think of reinforcement versus punishment. So when your dog jumps up and they keep jumping up, you have to think to yourself, what am I doing to reinforce this behaviour? Why is the dog continually doing it? Why are they not stopping? And then you have to look at your behaviour, and the chances are you'll be doing something that is encouraging them to keep jumping on you. So for instance, it's really easy, especially when you have a puppy, is to teach them that when you come home or when you see them, they don't get your attention, even eye contact, unless all 4 paws are on the ground. Generally what I'll do is I will, if I come in and a dog jumps on me, I'll just be like, I just don't care. So when puppies do jump on me, I just act as if I just don't care. So that behaviour doesn't work. It doesn't make me look at them. It doesn't make me say anything to them. I just ignore it, especially in puppies, because they're only little, and it'll stop pretty quickly if you just don't reinforce it. And then what you can do, if you want to, is reinforce them when they have got 4 paws on the floor. I generally will just not make a big deal out of things like that. And it also depends on your type of dog. If you've got a dog that struggles to calm down, then I wouldn't get them as excited as I would some other dogs that just calm down pretty easily. So with jumping up, that's the most basic ways to do it. There are ways where you can make all the good stuff come from below, like this. Come home. Hello, Bello Bellows. Hello, pup. Hello, little girl. Oh, there's lots of food. Hello. Let's get excited. Good. So all I'm doing is hello. Just putting the food on the floor. So what she'll start to do is, if every time I come home and I just drop food on the floor, the good stuff is coming from below, not above. Hello. Good girl. Oops, sorry. So what you're going to do is simply reinforce not jumping, and then what you'll find is they'll be more likely to be looking down as opposed to up. So if I feed her like that, she's going to do that and get close to my face. If I do that, she's going to get further away from my face. Really, really simple. Then what you want to do, if you do want to come home and say hello, you start adding in more kind of excitement. Hello, good girl. And just make sure the food's always coming from the bottom. Hello, little girl. Like that. Very, very simple. Then third question, raising 5-month-old puppy Malvin. I offer her something other than me, shout, scream, turn away or stand up, but sometimes none of this works and she keeps coming at me. This seems to be when she is tired or excited. It had reduced, but in the last few days she has started again. So that's from Karen Brown. So the thing to remember with puppies is they are going to bite you. They are going to mouth you a lot, and it gets really frustrating. But it's something that they're going to do. It's something that you really pretty much sign up for when you get a puppy. That's why I'm thinking about not getting a puppy and getting a one that's a bit older, so I don't have to worry about the annoying puppy stuff. But we'll see. So I wouldn't shout or shriek anymore. I used to do that, but what I found was sometimes you could scare the puppy. Sometimes you could get them more aroused by shrieking. You can trigger some predatory kind of drive when you go, eh! You become a bit of prey, making that high-pitched noise. Turn away or stand up. You can do that, but puppies generally get quite frustrated and they will be nipping and biting you. So, Seems to be when she's tired or excited. So what I would probably do, if your puppy enjoys being in a crate or is comfortable in the crate, I'll be putting them in the crate more often. It sounds like if they're tired or excited and they're doing it, it means they're probably a little bit irritable because they need to sleep a bit more. So we have to remember with puppies, even when they're at 5 months, they need to sleep a lot. So when they don't get that adequate sleep, they do start becoming irritating to us. It also depends on what sort of puppy you've got. Some dogs are more likely to be a bit more mouthy. Your German Shepherds, your Huskies, they tend to be a bit more snappy and whatnot. But that would be a perfect dog to then play tug with. So generally what I'll recommend, especially with children, when children are moving around, they become very good targets for dogs that like mouthing and biting ankles. So what you'll simply do is just pick up a toy and then walk around with that. So the dog learns to, so if the dog bites your legs, you just ignore them. If they bite the toy, you have a little bit of a game. So the dog starts to associate that the game only starts when the toy's in their hand. So that's why tug can be very, very helpful, because they're always looking for that tug toy. Well, not they're always looking for it, but they're only gonna get excited to play tug when the tug toy's out. You form an association. So with the mouthing, you just want to give them more time to relax and sleep. Maybe play more tug with them to give them an outlet, but then also do some calming type behaviours. Hello, what are you doing? So offer them, so look, here we're getting an excitable puppy. Good. Here's a quick thing you can do. If they want something to do, get a bunch of food. Some stuff drying. Just throw it over there. Just let them go and sniff it out. Gives her something to do, keeps her occupied, stops her being annoying. Now, I don't want to tell her off, or I don't think you should tell the dogs off, because it's just something that they need to be doing, and you're just going to form a bad association of you. So just giving the puppy something to do, probably allowing them to sleep more will just definitely help. And just kind of, you've got to wait it out. It will get better as they get older, but adolescence can be a bit of a pain in the arse. We haven't even hit adolescence yet, but when they mouth in an adolescence aren't the best of times to have a puppy. So Teresa Holdaway asks, fireworks fear. The anxiety goes on well after the fireworks have stopped. Yeah, Tori really hates fireworks and it can be a pain in the arse. But at the same time, it's super stressful for them, so we have to be very understanding. Now, the best way you can help your dog through this kind of fear is by doing a desensitization protocol. So what we do is would find a sound on the internet or an app or something like that, and we'd put it on really, really quietly. And then what we'll do is we'll start doing some classical conditioning. So whenever they hear the noise, they get the good stuff. And slowly, we start getting louder and louder and louder until they are a bit more confident and a bit more comfortable, and they understand that the noise is now a predictor of the good stuff. Now, it's really, really hard to get over fears. So you'll need to practice this well before the fireworks start. So the fireworks have just gone on, so you could be practicing this now up until next year's fireworks or Christmas or whenever they're next going to happen. So that's the training protocol you do. Otherwise, what you can do is you can just make, when you know they're about to happen, put on some of your favourite music and start playing with your dog, turn it into a training session. So when they do get stressed and anxious and whatnot, they get a lot of adrenaline going through their system. So what you could do is if they can channel it into something positive, you could start playing tug or something like that to try and kind of use that adrenaline in a positive way. Now I'm going to show you a quick classical conditioning or desensitization program you can do with your dog development. So what I've got on here is I've just got a recording of fireworks basically. I've got the volume down quite low and I'm just going to play it and just see what Velo's reaction is. So I got a little look, kind of little what's that? So whenever the fireworks are playing, you're going to be feeding Velo, or you're feeding your dog. Then what you're going to do, you're going to turn it off, press pause, no fireworks are going to be going, nothing good's going to happen. So if you continually do this at a very slow progress, or a very slow progressional pace, what will start to happen is the dog will start to associate when they hear that noise, good stuff is going to happen. But you have to make sure you go really slowly with this. That's the problem with desensitization and counter conditioning, is it takes so long and you have to go so slow. But it does work. So again, this comes on, the food is delivered. Pause it. Food is not delivered. Comes on, food is delivered. And then gradually, you're going to start turning it up, but making sure the dog's comfortable the whole time. If you pause it, nothing happens. Start it again. The key here is that the dog doesn't have to be doing anything. They just need to create an association that when that sound is going, they're getting the good stuff. So again, we'll give it a little play. If it will. And then as soon as the boom, boom, boom start, you feed. And then you gradually, it gets louder and louder and louder. But you have to, it really depends on your dog. If your dog's a little bit nervous of even the slightest noise, you'll need to take it very slowly. But that is basically how you will counter condition their response. Kiss. Good girl. We done? We're done. So that's counter conditioning and desensitization. We just have to remember that with fear or stress or anything like that, it's involuntary, meaning they can't help it. So you don't want to be telling them off. That is probably the last thing you want to be doing, because it will just make their experience even worse, and the person they're supposed to be able to trust and depend on is now telling them off when they're in the really stressful situation. You can go to your veterinary behaviourist and talk about medication if it's really bad. Tori gets some medication to ease that anxiety. We just have to be careful we don't give her too much, because she can get a little bit drunk. But there's your options. So there are ways you can get your dog through it. It's just a very long, lengthy process, and it takes a lot of dedication from you. But it does work, and I would definitely recommend trying it.